Hi, Room 5. Welcome to Bedtime Stories. It's already our fourth Bedtime Stories, if you can believe it. We started this on Monday after spring break, and it's already Thursday today, although you can listen to these anytime you want. So I'm all showered, I'm in my cozies, and we're going to continue with Frog and Toad. So the first chapter that I'm going to read to you is called The Dream. Toad was asleep, and he was having a dream. He was on stage and he was wearing a costume. Toad looked out into the dark. Frog was sitting in the theater. A strange voice from far away said, "Presenting the greatest toad in all the world." Toad took a deep bow. Frog looked smaller, and he shouted, "Hooray for Toad!" "Toad will now play the piano very well," said the strange voice. Toad played the piano, and he did not miss a note. "Frog," cried Toad, "can you play the piano like this?" "No," said Frog. And it seemed to Toad that Frog looked even smaller. "Toad will now walk on a high wire, and he will not fall down," said the voice. Toad walked on the high wire. "Frog," cried Toad, "can you do tricks like this?" "No," peeped Frog, who looked very, very small. "Toad will now dance, and he will be wonderful," said the voice. "Frog, can you be as wonderful as this?" said Toad, as he danced all over the stage. There was no answer. Toad looked out into the theater. Frog was so small that he could not be seen or heard. "Frog," said Toad, "where are you?" There was still no answer. "Frog, what have I done?" cried Toad. Then the voice said, "The greatest toad will now—" "Be quiet!" screamed Toad. "Frog, Frog, where have you gone?" Toad was spinning in the dark. "Come back, Frog!" he shouted. "I will be lonely." "I'm right here," said Frog. Frog was standing near Toad's bed. "Wake up, Toad," he said. "Frog, is that really you?" said Toad. "Well, of course it's me," said Frog. "And are you your right size?" asked Toad. "Yes, I think so," said Frog. Toad looked at the sunshine coming through the window. "Frog," he said, "I am so glad that you came over." "I always do," said Frog. Then Frog and Toad ate a big breakfast, and after that, they spent a fine, long day together. The end. Now we're starting the next book in this giant book, and it's called Frog and Toad All Year. And the first chapter of this one is called Down the Hill. Frog knocked at Toad's door. "Toad, wake up," he cried. "Come out and see how wonderful the winter is." "I will not," said Toad. "I am in my warm bed." "Winter's beautiful," said Frog. "Come out and have fun." "Blah," said Toad. "I do not have any winter clothes." I love when Toad says blah. Frog came into his house. I have brought you some things to wear, he said. Frog pushed a coat down over the top of Toad. Frog pulled snow pants up over the bottom of Toad. He put a hat and scarf on Toad's head. Help! Cried Toad. My best friend is trying to kill me. I'm only getting you ready for winter, said Frog. Toad's very dramatic. Frog and Toad went outside. They tramped through the snow. We will ride down this big hill on my sled, said Frog. Not me, said Toad. Do not be afraid, said Frog. I will be with you on the sled. It will be a fine, fast ride. Toad, you sit in front. I will sit right behind you. The sled began to move down the hill. Here we go, said Frog. There was a bump. Frog fell off the sled. Toad rushed past trees and rocks. Oh, Frog, I'm so glad that you are here, said Toad. Toad leaped over a snowbank. I could not steer this sled without you, Frog, he said. You are right. Winter is fun. Frog's not even on the sled. A crow flew nearby. Hello, Crow, shouted Toad. Look at Frog and me. We can ride a sled better than anybody in the world. But Toad, said the crow, you are alone on the sled. Toad looked around. He saw that Frog was not there. I'm all alone, screamed Toad. Bang! The sled hit a tree. Thud! The sled hit a rock. Plop! The sled dived into the snow. Frog came running down the hill. He pulled Toad out of the snow. I saw everything, said Frog. You did very well by yourself. I did not, said Toad. But there is one thing I can do all by myself. What is that? Asked Frog. I can go home, said Toad. Winter may be beautiful, but bed is much better. And that's the end of that chapter. Have you noticed that Toad just wants to sleep all the time and be in his bed? He's such a grouch, but I love that his best friend is Frog, because Frog is constantly trying to get him to see the world and do all these new things. And you have to have that balance in your life. You have to have somebody who inspires you to want to do things that you normally wouldn't want to do. So I love their friendship. So we have a couple more nights of our Frog and Toad, and then we'll do Mercy Watson. So I miss you guys like crazy. Tomorrow is the teacher parade in our cars, so make sure you go to bed early tonight and get ready to see me, because I'm going to be so excited to see you. And sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Sleep tight. And I love you, and there's no place like home.